All right. So, how are you?
I'm great,
I
thank
saw
you.
your
Thank you
video
so
you
much.
posted, by the way. I just
Oh,
saw the video
oh, the one
you just
earlier on?
I watched it. Yeah, that was amazing. That is some good, it's just excellent footage. I'm glad to know I'm not the only one seeing these things. Um,
Likewise.
it's bizarre, is it not?
It's crazy stuff. And when you sent me
Right?
those links last night and I was watching over, it was like watching myself doing my own work back at me. It was quite a relief. And yeah,
I'm
I
telling
mean,
you that it's it was refreshing for me as well. So, but I've been seeing these things for far too long. Let's just put it like that, or maybe not long enough. Who knows, really? Because it
sure.
depends on how you're looking at it and what these are, which is what we're here for. They're out, correct?
Yes, absolutely. It came as a shock to me. I lost my dad and found out these things were definitely real within the same sort of four
Yes.
months. And
So when
yeah,
I
so
asked you that question and I said there was a series of unfortunate events, I was right, right?
oh yeah, absolutely, yeah,
Yeah.
you was right. And a few amazing things happened, and God, it was only last year, so it's still like it's all happened.
Wow.
Like everything I'm recording and showing you
Fresh
is fresh, happening right now. So
in real
trying
time.
to document it as much as I can, but I know I'm not the only one. I'm not a special one or anything. It's just
Oh,
things are
well, you are in a
happening.
sense, let me tell you.
Maybe,
In a
maybe,
sense, you
but
are. There's
there's a
very
lot of
few of
people
us.
out there.
Yeah, that's correct. I can tell you that there seemingly is, like I was explaining in my email, there seems to be, in my connection with people I've interviewed for the last 10 to 12 years, actually, now that I think about it, people that I've run across, met on just, airplanes or in a restaurant. And speaking with these individuals that do see or do have the eyes and the capability of seeing, it seems
Yeah.
like they have what I call a series of unfortunate events. It's where in life you have experienced something for your own
Hmm.
soul and your own spiritual self, so tragic, or maybe a series of them leading up to, per se, but so tragic that you hit like literally like rock bottom. And at that point, when
Yeah.
you're just so lost, so devastated, so without any understanding of why these things happened or how you're going to get through it, that's when you are jolted, and I mean jolted into an awakening. And it's almost like overnight, is it not? It's like I was blind, but now I see. Like you wake up one day seeing everything where you went to sleep the night before, being like everyone else. Would you
There
say
was
that's
definitely there was definitely a realization moment, and then you kind of look back at old videos, old footage, and then you start connecting the dots, right? Because they're there.
yes,
And
yes,
it's not like it's when we say we need to open minds so that people can see. It's not a foresight thing. That's a whole different ball game, right? You talk when we're talking
yeah,
about
they've been
sight.
here the time.
Yeah,
Yes,
it's literally talking about seeing what's in front of you and analyzing it for what it is. And we're seeing
yes.
these things in footage from the 60s, the 50s. Like
Way
they're
back.
there
Well, it goes
as
back
long as
to
we've had
ancient
cameras.
tablets. Yeah.
It exactly. So it must mean something. It must mean old, ancient. And I know that you. So going a little bit back to yourself, Lisa, because I'm trying to learn as much as I could in as
Yeah.
little time as I have.
Likewise, too. I'm just excited. I'm excited to talk to you because there's very few, it seems like there's more and more. And yes, people capture these, but some people, it's a little different. They might be
Yeah.
experiencing or seeing, I should say, but experiencing in a personal way, in a personal mannerism
Mhm.
is completely different. So for me, um, I went through what I call a series of unfortunate events. Happily married. I was married to a Navy SEAL for 15 years, almost 15 years. Went
Okay.
through what I would like to say a devastating, divorce. Deeply, madly in love, and to this day we're still
Sure.
friends. But things got
Good.
very, very different. Things started happening, I should say. he became a different person. Now, we're talking the U.S. military. The naval SEALs are considered, top of the top of the top of the line as far as your elite. They go through the most extensive training, and that will wear on a person. I'm going to say, and places that they go and things that they experience, whether it be war or training or just the whole concept of being involved with it. And the knowledge of what you have to keep to yourself, it'll change a person. And PTSD is real. It's real for them, but it's also real for us. It's a very real thing. It doesn't matter what it is. We're all equipped with different skills and different ways of handling things. Capabilities are different for all, depending on our upbringing, from the time we're in the womb to our entrance into the earth. And I'd like to say that I also feel like everything involved put into us as well. I'm going to park that bus there. But whenever I say that, of course, you and I both know censorship is real. We have to be very, very careful where we tiptoe around things. But, military folks worldwide have to go through a series of medical, clinical type things, before they can be suitable to go in. Right. Yeah. So I watched this man very much change and become someone different. And I'm not going to go into too much detail there, but it was devastating. I had, beautiful daughters with him. And then, it's like one day I found myself alone with these little girls. One day living on the side of the railroad tracks, not knowing how am I going to feed them? How am I going to clothe them? I've been married my entire life since I was 18. And, I worked too, but I worked jobs that, was for just to do the fun stuff, basically. And when you find yourself being the sole provider and since you're 18 and then you incorporate 15 years later, it's a devastating place to be. But I mean, that was just the beginning, and I could go probably further back. Things happen to everybody, bad things happen to good people. Let's just put it like that. Sure. And that goes without saying, and my heart aches for anyone and everyone that's experienced loss, especially with what you just told me, especially so fresh, with as fresh as it is. By the way, I'm proud of you.
Yeah, I mean, everyone experiences totally it, right? I mean,
you're doing honor for you. He is smiling down on you right now. I guarantee you. He sees that.
He's probably flying up there.
He's smiling. That was me, by the way. I just totally did that. It's like, hey. Yeah, you won't recognize me. I'm gonna make sure I'm gonna shapeshift a little bit. But I mean, I guess what I'm getting at is I ended up coming down after divorce with what's known as Morgellons disease, and that's very specifically worldwide. People are exhibiting these symptoms, and they say the CDC denies it. The worldwide denies. Neither here nor there, but it is a very terrifying thing to experience.
Right.
Your body does things that it shouldn't. You know your body. You were born with your body. As you grow, your body's yours. So when it's doing something it shouldn't. And nobody wakes up one day crazy. Let's just all keep that into perspective. You don't go to bed one night and wake up the next day crazy. You can't be just a regular citizen going through the motions, paying your bills, getting through the day, going to work, and caring for your families, and then one day just all of a sudden you're bat crap crazy. What happens is you go to bed one night and you wake up with eyes to see, and you wake up with an awareness and this spiritual portion of you that's been moved to the very core that shakes your soul so much so the next thing you know, you're minding your own business and you notice something out of the corner of your eye or right blatantly in front of you. It doesn't matter how it works. It's different for very, very many, but it's still kind of the same concept. When you see, you see. And once you see, you cannot unsee it. There's just no going back from there. So that's, again, and I probably just flapped my gums a little too long. I didn't want to touch too much on, rock bottom's rock bottom. That's something we all have to embrace. Our pain, our hurt, our sorrow, our sadness, that's part of who we are. And it is our personal job to embrace that, understand that it's okay to cry and hurt, and move forward. But when you wake up and then you're not only moving forward, but you're seeing the oddities in the sky above you, and just like, okay, now what's going? I know I didn't just see. No, that did not just happen. I did not just see that. And then you're like trying to show people, no, it's a bug. Come on, it's a bird. It's Superman. It's an air. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Superman. You're hearing it
I
all,
mean,
and logic is logic. We get that.
Yeah. How long does it last anyway until? I mean, we're saying it in the UK
It
because
doesn't end.
in the UK it's cold in the winter. It's cold most of the time until we get to like March, April time, and then it
Right.
starts warming up.
Yeah.
But in the winter it's really cold, and it's not that we don't get any bugs. We just don't get very many, and the ones that are there are like they're minute. So when we start getting the same objects zipping across in November, December, January, people are like, "Oh, it's something being carried in the wind." They've run out of things to say.
They're looking for logic, right? We all looked for logic at one time. But when you're personally in front of it, it's different. And I
I
wish
think a
people
lot
would
of
keep that
people,
in mind.
it is very different. I've seen, I mean, obviously, like yourself, myself, a few other channels, we show objects in the sky which are genuinely UAPs. They're genuine unknowns.
I can't even.
And
I've seen
thousands
them
of
every
people have
day
seen it.
since.
Yeah, thousands of people have seen them on our channels, right? But until
Yes.
they start filming and start realizing the difference themselves, they don't have that OS moment where they go, "Hang on,
Oh crap!
something's up."
Caramba.
Something's up. Yeah, and
Exactly.
it didn't take me long to come to that conclusion. It took one video where I knew
Yeah.
where the video was obtained, only an hour, well, 2 hours away from where I live, and
Right.
it showed something that I could not, and it wasn't just a black dot. It just showed something that just
You
couldn't
can't
be
explain
explained. We don't have anything on the planet that can fire out an orb that
the
fast. We
movements,
don't
the
have an orb.
motions, the speed. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
like,
I mean,
and
not
I,
even, and trust me, we have technology. We have excellent technology that they don't share with us. And again, being who I was married to, because we went contracts government
sure,
after, getting out of that. And I don't even need to mention that entity of the government because there were two, which
I
is
think it's
when he
obvious.
changed. But I can tell you, we have technology, and there are things such as DARPA and HARP and
Hmm.
so with that said, we know we have technology, but what we're seeing is well
I
beyond.
think it's under. I think it's under the
Well
radar
beyond.
massively. Some
Oh,
of
of
it's
course.
known.
Well, I think the government does know, and I mean, I have my own reasons for thinking it's been kept like it is for a reason. Because if it was known and they allowed it to be known, then that would rearrange all of our written history. That would change all of those that are large and in charge and wealthy,
Yeah,
running and owning this planet. It would change their whole entire world to where it gives us power and them less, if not any, at all. You know what I mean?
if
So,
they're
and that's
everywhere
a
to be studied,
person.
if they're
Yes,
everywhere to
yes,
be studied, then everyone can study them. So, and
yeah,
I think this is the point. Like, they're out there everywhere in every country. People are slowly waking up to that
all
fact,
over.
and they're gonna, like,
Yes, they'll see or
this
they
leads.
won't.
Yeah, this leads into so many questions because I've obviously watched some of your videos. I've listened to the words that you've spoken in your videos, which is beautiful, by the way. Well put
Thank you.
together. I feel like you hold God close to your heart.
I didn't before. That's what I'm telling you. This journey is a spiritual journey, like in so
I
many
have to
ways I
agree with
can't
it.
even
It is.
convey.
Yeah.
Yes. So I mean, I was born and raised going to church with a family, but I think religion is completely different. Let's put it like that. I believe a lot of religion
With you
divides us,
there
and
as
it
well.
was meant to divide us, keeping us in
Yeah.
separate buildings with separate doors, saying "Do not enter unless you got a badge that says you can go in." And kind of like what we see just every day and all the time. And it was created, in my own opinion, and of course, it's a humble opinion. It may not be correct, but that's how I see
Wait,
it: division through
You're
and through.
you're a wise lady with wise words.
Thank you.
That's
I hope.
I can tell you that much. Because none of us are really sure on what we're seeing, and there are scriptures and there are readings, there are books,
Yeah, well,
There's
that's what
sculptures.
provoked me to start looking. And I've had, like I said, 10,
Mhm.
I have actually probably almost closer to 13 years delving in, pulling at scriptures. And keep in mind that biblical scripture, a lot of it's been contaminated, mistranslated. But
Mhm.
the great thing that we can do today is you can actually take side by side comparisons. You can go back to the original language, the Aramaic or Hebrew, and keeping in mind that these were left thousands of years ago, so they were here well before any of our knowledge of anything, and
Yeah.
never once were mentioned ETs. But in a sense, are we not actually singing the same song, just to a different
You're
melody, so
spot
to
on.
speak?
You're so spot on. It's scary. It's unbelievably scary how spot on you are. So my
Thank you.
argument, and I
Yeah, it
kind of
scares me too, though, sometimes.
my,
We weren't given a spirit of fear, but it's frightening, is it not? Especially when it's exciting and frightening at the same time, is it not? You
yeah. I
experience a
mean,
little
well,
bit of all that.
a lot of people go down the rabbit hole, and they get
It's a
to a
deep
certain
one.
point and they don't get the answer, right? And it sounds like you've gone down that rabbit hole, but you already know kind of
Many,
what
many
you're looking
times.
for, whereas the other people wouldn't know what they're looking for. They're still searching, right?
Yeah.
I myself, I went down the rabbit hole and stopped very early on because I realized that there's going to be so many tunnels that's going to lead me ultimately probably to the same topic, right? The same ultimate thing, which is
Yeah.
ETs, UFOs, spiritual, So I never really haven't got to God yet, and I'm very practical. So I've cut the corner
That's
with a lot of
okay. That's
scriptures.
the way you got to do it.
Yeah, because and ultimately I've done that because the old books, the scriptures, and all that stuff was
Hmm.
interpreted by people that was
Yes,
only at a certain level of technology and
exactly.
intelligence. So their interpretation will be very different to ours now, and very
Should.
different to our people in 100,000 years' time. It's going to be completely different. So
Right.
I
I
take
think they
what I
were
see
more
in
advanced then, but well, oh, that's another day.
more advanced,
So
but not technologically, spiritually maybe, but not technologically, because
no,
the evidence hasn't been left.
I can't even explain how. So I kept going down the rabbit holes, and what I started doing was taking bits and pieces that made sense.
Mhm.
And then, of course, there's archived information. You have to dig, and you have to dig hard for it. But you can go to your libraries, especially older towns. Go to the libraries, pull old books. You would be amazed what's found. But like I was telling, I don't know if you got a chance to read my paper that I wrote on the crop circles that I sent to you.
Oh,
I think I
I
sent
had
it
a
last night,
I
though.
looked at it briefly. Yeah, I did have a
Yeah.
look.
So cymatics and frequency
Mhm.
is a big thing with, I believe, how these things navigate and work. Electromagnetic frequencies, and obviously we see the plasmoid
Yeah,
entities or beings. But I guess what I incorporated to it was, I mean, even these old ancient structures, we couldn't possibly replicate those even today with the
yeah.
symmetry and perfection. And so that's kind of what kept me on this track. And I am not saying I'm wrong, because Lord knows that that's what we're here to learn from
No,
one
yeah.
another.
So the structures that
No,
were made by an ET technology for sure, but that's not something
right?
the people back then possessed. They only witnessed,
Yeah, they
and
were given that
witnessing.
knowledge. Yeah,
Yeah, and that's going from like not knowing what an elevator is to seeing the full whack in one go.
exactly,
So that's where the perception's gone, right? And if I was climbing an
exactly.
elevator all the way back then, they would have thought I was Jesus or something, right? So this is where
And people did or would have,
I
so,
for sure, for sure. And so,
right?
like, yeah, the scriptures are important. In my opinion, the sculptures
Well, I
are
mean,
more
it's not
important.
in that. It's what's here, right? You can
Well,
feel it here.
yeah,
I
I
say
mean, it's
discernment.
like spiritually, people were in touch way back when. They weren't eating the
Hmm.
foods that we have on the shelves today. They weren't fed the media. They weren't fed the social
They
media.
weren't
They weren't
indoctrinated with.
governed by corruption. But like
Yeah.
the people were more free. They thought for themselves. They looked at the stars. They could probably see the stars. In the UK, we can't even bloom and see them because there's that much gas and stuff in the air. It's
I've
ridiculous, right?
not been to the UK portion. I've been to Amsterdam. Like, that's the closest I've come to you. I've been to Greece. That's the closest to that continent I've come. But I can't imagine what
Amsterdam. Yeah.
you have as far as contamination. There's a lot here, but my
Yeah, we have lovely
understanding and what I've
countryside
seen
here,
is
but
it's
it's
just
We don't have the
crazy.
same skies as you in terms of like the night sky. You know,
Yeah,
America's
I
a
can
massive
look up
place.
and see. Well, I used to could look up and see. I'm from New Mexico originally, so
Okay,
I grew up laying on a trampoline at night, gazing. I was always in love with the sky,
sounds like it.
always stargazing.
Yeah,
You were too, I'm sure, because that's
yeah,
another thing that just is. But one night I experienced a meteor shower as I'm like 10 years old, laying on the trampoline, just straight up looking, and all these stars are falling down on me. And it was like you felt like you were flying through space. It was mesmerizing.
yeah.
But these days, I don't think I could even go back to New Mexico. And I'm in Texas now, which borders New Mexico. It's just a
Mm,
state away. Of course, Texas thinks it's its own country, and I can't stand this state, but neither here nor there. It's like you can't see them like that kind of clarity anymore. It's
sure.
just not there anymore. And the contamination is, which is why I got sick, I believe, is from all of the contamination and, geoengineering and bioengineering and
Yeah.
preservation type things that it's real. It's real. I
Oh,
just,
you
it
should get
just
over
is.
to the UK in the summer. Only in the summer because it's too cold during the winter months and stuff. But in the summer,
Oh,
25 degrees, nice open like countryside. If there's no clouds, and that's what I mean by a horrible sky. Normally it's grey. Even now there's grey clouds out there, and it looks like it wants to rain. But the sun's penetrating through. But on a good summer's day, like a good week, it's perfect weather. Good for a UFO as well or two. Stonehenge
I
and all
bet.
those sort of areas are really good.
I've watched many of yours, especially lately. I kind of was binge watching, because when my gut tells me something, I have to go. I delve in head first. I do. Well, I barely, had. I don't even know how I ran across your channel a while back, and I'd seen it, but immediately I was like, there's something about this man, and he doesn't even know it about himself yet. I immediately felt that. I don't know why. I don't have the answers, and you've probably found yourself knowing things or
A lot
thinking
of
things,
people
and you
don't
don't
see
know
me
where
as
they
a
came from
skeptic.
as well.
Yeah, a lot of people
Yeah,
don't see me as a skeptic because I'm like, that's real, that's real, that's real. But I analyze and I'm harder on my own footage than I am everyone else's. But nothing makes a
yeah,
channel unless I think it's something real in the clip. And
yeah,
like I've got someone who's helped me out at the moment, and I'll show her some footage, and she's like, "Oh, that's something." And I'm like, "No," and I'm
yeah.
saying no to my own. Even if it is, it's not enough to show the people. I need to show something more convincing. So
See,
like,
I never even had to strive for that. Like what I see, I don't. I have a video actually prepared to show you, one of my more recent ones, but I mean, it is broad daylight, clear capture.
mm,
And it's like I don't even have to try. I thought I might have to try to prove these things way back, but people are like, oh my gosh. But the funny thing is, even if it's clear, the ones that can't see, they won't see.
they won't
You
see
can
anyway.
show them blatantly a silver spinning ball with like huge, large, and in charge with aliens waving, hey, how you doing, waving out the window,
We
and they're not going
basically
to
have.
see it.
Yeah, we've shown
So
a saucer going like this, spinning down the screen. I've taken
right,
still shots in AI enhancements. There's little dudes in there piloting the thing, and
I've
everyone was
seen it.
like, "Nah, that's
Yeah.
just the AI." And they go away from the fact that it was a flying saucer flying
I've got
across
real
the camera, like
footage.
it's a round disc spinning around, right? But because their
Yep.
focus is the pilot's real or not, yes or no, they
Yeah,
forget the
looking for
fact
the
that was
logic.
actually it was a UFO for flipping it,
But they're
and
like only thinking about, are those really aliens? And you're thinking like, my gosh, where is your head? What is wrong with you that you
yeah,
can't see the whole entirety of the reason I've shown you this is because
exactly.
that shouldn't be there. Hello, and
I'm
it
not, it's not.
just
I'm
want to
not
shake
putting
and
in
be
a
like,
prompt like
knock
add
knock.
aliens to the craft. I'm just enhancing the photo that's there. So I
Yeah,
don't
and
understand
that's
the
what you have to do. It's
well, yeah,
crazy.
because this is it. The fight for me is that we can get funding for the scientists to build the cameras so that we can capture these things in like 10K or whatever,
Right.
150 frames per second on a memory card that we don't have to build by
Well,
20 of
you have
to.
to format some of them, but I mean,
Yeah,
I'm a
like
private investigator. That's my profession. I own every type of equipment you can imagine, from the teeniest to the largest. And
I mean,
it is like when you're showing this and you're like, look, this is my footage. I had look this on a memory card inside the camera. I couldn't manipulate that if I tried. And they're still like, I don't believe it. No, that can't
yeah,
be. Yeah, okay. It's like
yeah.
you just stay in your
I go
dreamland.
live on my mobile phone, right? And
Hmm.
people are like, "Yeah, it's fake," and I'm like, "Well, I've just uploaded CGI live into my phone to show you guys that these things are from a
Yeah.
tree 240 yards away from my camera." Yeah, because we can
Oh,
capture those
I
files.
don't. You just wait. Yours are going to get more intense. In fact, you won't even have a need to have to show other people's videos here soon.
Mm,
You're already there, believe it or not, and it's going
yeah,
to intensify. If you say this is like your first go and your first kind of like what the heck's going on, and trust me, you're doing amazing, handling it well,
thank
showing it
you.
well, very professionally. I love that. But your whole world's getting ready to drastically change. That first year was a small step to something that's huge
I'm
that's
9
coming.
months in. It's 9 months. It's not
Yeah.
even a year.
Oh
It,
yeah,
yeah,
you just wait.
yeah.
You are gonna be so overwhelmed with
I'm
what
already
you
into
get.
capability. I've got capability videos I'm waiting to show, but the people aren't ready
Yeah.
yet. They're still trying to get over the fact these things are everywhere.
And they
And I'm
want
ready
they
to
yeah,
show what they can do. So, like,
yes.
obviously, some people, if the ones that can see it early, will be ahead of the game, right? You're way ahead of the game as well in terms of what you're seeing.
I never
You've
had
probably
any
got a good
belief in
idea.
this either, by the way. I
That,
never
and so
believed in any of this.
how long have you known fully in your heart that this is going on up there?
Okay, so keep in mind I'm from New Mexico, and of course everyone knows Roswell, New Mexico,
Of
and my
course.
dad was Air Force. I was born in I was a military baby brat, married
I
military,
mean,
and so keep those roots. But so
knowing.
I never saw anything then, ever. Not growing. I
No,
saw that meteor shower when I was little, but being from there, I was like, oh, you must see spaceships and crafts, and like no. So 12 years, no, 13 years exactly 13 years in, well, I guess it was in April, it would have been 13 years. So that long. And every single day, there's not a day that has gone by that I don't see them. Um, and it's my most recent experience was probably one of the most intense. Well, I've had some, which led me down the path to Jesus, so to speak, because when you see demons after that, it's a surreal moment.
I
And
mean,
I
your
can't
mind will.
I can only explain it like that.
Yeah,
It's you had
your
like
mind will want to pin it to something, right? Your mind will try and
but
connect it to something.
it didn't even have to. It was right there. It's like I immediately knew. I knew what was going on. I knew it was spiritual. The whole thing. Actually, I knew from the get go. Coming down with the illness was hard to wrap my mind around. But then seeing what I see and what you see,
Hmm.
I knew almost immediately, like it was just words that fell upon me. I like, this is a war. This is a spiritual war. It's a battle for your soul. And you are going to go on. You are an eternal being, just like the aliens, if
Yeah,
you want to call them that,
I'm
would
glad you
say, which
said that.
fallen angels or aliens, we're still singing the same song. Um,
Mm,
just calling them different words because things get, kind of, people that don't know anything about the cuneiform tablets, the ancient scrolls and tablets that were left like what 6,000 years ago at this point. They grow up without not that knowledge, but then someone says, "Oh, there's a UFO. There's people coming from outer space." And first of all, we all know that those crafts would completely, just incinerate.
bang
They
on.
would just not be possible. But what I know and I believe, these things have always been here. They've been here from day one, from heaven to earth. They came. Heaven is outer space. You just one planet. Heaven's outer space. Wherever you want to, go with that. From heaven to earth, they came, and then they created hybrid beings or mating with the women of man. It doesn't matter how they did it, because to me, some of those stories are so childish, like Jonah and the well, and or they found the women of men beautiful and they're making babies. Who knows? They were probably scrapping DNA there, swapping it out. But we know that there were
Yeah.
hybrid beings, and they were wiped out. They were wiped out, and some of them were sent to what they call Hades, or beneath, or Antarctica, where, the wonderful captain flew in and he went underground and found that there's a whole civilization, or people talk about the Grand Canyon. We're still singing the same song, because they are living beneath us, above us, below us, beside us. They're everywhere, and they can come looking like just you or I. And I've seen that. They can come in any form they want. They can transition. They can